Hello, welcome to Crafting with the Crafty Chick for project number 3. We are doing a fall sunflower themed card. Again, using this same buffalo check background. And this is a big sunflower with the sentiment, "You've been on my mind." And so you could even send these two things as a gift to someone. It's just, what a great way to spread some smiles and kindness. And so this one is a Crafty Chick original. And I'm telling you guys, I'm having so much fun coloring these. You can do multiple colors. And this one, I will tell you that the center of the sunflower, we will be using the Stampin' Up's brown blend, which is called Bronze, where on the previous project we used soft suede. So there is definitely a difference in the two browns. Okay, so, and I will be demoing a couple of different things on this one. And again, we're using the Celebrate Sunflower bundle, which is the big sunflower with the leaves. And in the dies, I don't know if I told you guys the last one, there is I call them an overlay, where you have in this bundle, you have your big sunflower, which that cuts the sunflower image out, and then the leaves. So there is a stamp for the leaves, which is this one right here. And there is a die for that one. And so we would stamp the leaf and then you die cut it out. And then there is this piece, which is what I call an overlay, which is this darker green. I don't know if you guys can see. That actually is a separate piece. And I'm going to show you guys how to get that look. Okay, now we're not going to be doing any die cutting today. Okay, so we're going to set this off to the side. And so again, the best thing I recommend is to stamp your flower image first, and then you can color it in, and then die cut it out. It just makes it so much easier. Okay, so our base that we're starting with today is Early Espresso, and this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to refer to my notes here. The first layer, which is the Whisper White, let me double check here. Okay, which is 3 inches by 5, and the bottom half you're actually going to stamp with the buffalo check background stamp in Bumblebee ink, and you leave the top half blank. And just make sure that you leave enough of a space up top to stamp your sentiment. Your sentiment stamped in Early Espresso. And then You've Been on My Mind is, it's from the Butterfly Gala stamp set. And so 3 different stamps that we're using on this project, which is the Buffalo Check, which gives us our background. And then we have our sunflower bundle that we're using. And then our sentiment, You've Been on My Mind. Butterfly Gala. Okay. So, and then the inside, I also stamped a small sunflower in the corner here. You don't have to do that. You can leave it blank or stamp a sentiment. For those of you that know me, know I love to write notes inside my card. Okay, so let's get started. So the things that we will need, I'm going to demo a few things to show you guys. So last year's catalog, Stampin' Up! Had blender pens. This year's catalog, they still have blender pens, but they are different. The brush tips are different sizes, and I have not gotten those yet because these ones still are in good condition and still usable. So we're going to be using a blender pen today, and then I have the leaf stamp from the sunflower with our scrap and Old Olive ink pad. So one of the first things I want to do is to show you how to color in your leaf, because this does not color in the full leaf. So I'm going to get my pieces out here real quick. We've got an overlay piece in here that needs to come out. There we go. Okay. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to stamp my leaf in Old Olive. And remember, these are the new ink pads, so you think of like a compact. So there is a little lip here that you can use as a guide to push up. So you push up and you pull it away from you, and then you just push it in and it slides right in. So we're going to stamp our leaf, and again, this is Old Olive. And you want to have your blender pen close by because this needs to be a relatively quick process. So we're going to go ahead and stamp our leaf now. And so as you can see, it does not color in all of the leaf. So while this ink is still pretty wet, you want to take your blender pen, and what I'm going to do is bring out that color. And this will be hard to see, and I will show you in a minute as soon as I can get all this blended in. Because, like I said, you do have to do this relatively quickly while your ink is wet. And the thing you want to remember about these blender pens is you don't want to keep going over and over an area, because what happens is it kind of tears your paper, or what we call paper pilling, which is you get these little tiny balls on the top of your paper where you've gone over and over an area. And so now, I don't know if we can see here. Yeah, this is really hard to see. It looks like it's white here, but there is a lighter shade of Old Olive that extends out over the whole leaf to make it look like it's colored in. So that's a really fun way to get more of that color dispersed throughout. It's a blender pen. Okay, so we are done with that. So I just wanted to show you how we got that effect. So I'm going to set this off to the side. And then we have all of our pieces here. And the other thing I want to quickly show you, I'm going to turn this over because we have a black background here so you guys can see. Okay, so 2 of our leaves have already been done, so I'm going to set those off to the side. Because we have 2 leaves on one end of the flower and 1 leaf on the other end of the flower. So basically we're doing this leaf here, and so you have 2 pieces. We have our main outline leaf, and then we have our overlay leaf. So this is very delicate. If you just cut this out of cardstock by itself, what I have done, I have found the best thing to do with these delicate pieces is you actually take your cardstock and attach it to the adhesive sheet, which is like sticker paper. So basically you're making a sticker. So if I turn this over, you're not going to see the green, you're going to see white. That is actually the backing from the adhesive sheet. So I'm going to pull this away. So as you can see, I'm pulling that backing away. So this now is sticky because we have made that a sticker. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our overlay piece. I don't know if you can see the shine on that. So you can see that's the adhesive on there. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is take our leaf. So you want to look at the tip of your leaf. This is the easiest thing that I found to do this. You want to follow the tip of your leaf. So I'm going to line this tip of my overlay piece to this tip of my leaf. Whoop. And you can do this flat on a piece of paper if that helps too. And so you're just kind of lining up everything. And when you've got it right where you want it, and go ahead and secure it, because as soon as you lay it down, guess what? You're not going to lift it back up. It is down and it's on there for good. And so now I'm just securing that down. And so now we have our leaf with our overlay piece. So it's just a really nice, fun effect. Okay, so now we have all of our leaves done. So I'm going to set those off to the side. because now we're going to color sunflowers. I'm going to put that over here. And remember, you do want to have a piece of scrap. Okay. So, just like on the small sunflowers we did in the last project, we're going to use kind of the same Stampin' Blend, the Mango Melody, both light and dark. And we're going to use dark pumpkin pie this time, instead of just the light pumpkin pie. And we're going to use the bronze, which would be for the center of our sunflower. Okay, so let's see if I can bring this closer to the camera, if we can get it to focus. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see where I've got some, you can see where that darker shade of orange is, and also I have some orange out along the tips of my sunflower. So kind of like what we did with the last project where we did a lion's mane all the way around. We're kind of going to do the same thing, and then just put some lines of dark pumpkin pie over the tips of our flower. So as you can see, you see a lot of orange in there. It's not just one dimensional as far as color goes. Okay, so we're going to start with the dark pumpkin pie, and again the brush tip. Now when you do the tips of your flower petals, if you're following the line, you can use the brush tip end, or the fine tip end, sorry. So we're going to start with that, and again, there's no right or wrong rule. It's just like you can do every other one. You can do every petal. It's whatever you want to do. And this is not perfect, and remember, this may look silly now because you just have a bunch of lines, but it's not going to stay that way. And you can do that on some of your inner petals too if you want. Okay, I think that looks good. And then we're going to take the brush tip in, and I'm going to go just kind of like what we did with the little ones, just do a lion's mane all the way around. Keep it close to the center. Okay, I'm going to set that off to the side, and then we're going to come in with the dark Mango Melody. And this is where you're going to see, so you can see that is pretty prominent. And you think, what in the world is that? Trust me, it gets better. So you're going to take the Mango Melody, the dark Mango Melody, and I'm just going to start filling in my flower petals. And what I'm doing is I'm also blending out some of that orange. This is a multi-step process. You're not going to see those hard lines of that orange disappear on the first try. This takes several tries. And this is where it gets really fun and where you can really experiment with the colors and the variations and the hues. Perfect for a rainy day, let me tell you. Okay, and remember, you don't want to push too hard. These just flow. They're super smooth. Several years ago, Stampin' Up! Had alcohol markers very similar to these. They were called Blendabilities, and oh, they were wonderful. That was my first experience with using alcohol ink markers, and unfortunately, Stampin' Up! Had to discontinue that whole line. There were some issues within the product line, and they have worked since then to bring us another product, which is Stampin' Blends were born. And these are just so wonderful. I love the blendabilities too, but I think these are just a little bit smoother. They just flow better, and they don't really have a tendency to bleed outside the lines. Like, I know that's a common complaint with a lot of alcohol ink markers. Okay, that squeaking is from the marker, so that's normal. Okay, so let's look here. So you guys can see where some of my orange is blended out. And so as you can see, we still have these hard lines here. So now I'm going to work on blending this orange out into the yellow. And I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I'll just start with like this area here, just so you guys have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. And you'll get to see that we are eliminating that hard, harsh pumpkin pie line. Ooh, squeaky, squeaky, sorry. So, my girls love to color with these markers as well. And like I said, I've colored a lot of sunflowers with these markers, and so I've had to get a couple sets of this Mango Melody. It's such a beautiful sunflower color. I've used Daffodil Delight, but I just prefer this color for the sunflower. And so we are eliminating that harsh line that's not quite so prominent right there. And so I'm just dragging out the orange, blending out that color. And you can do the same thing with your petals to eliminate some of those harsh lines. And you blend those in and it's just seamless. You can't even tell that at one point you had that harsh line there. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my light Mango Melody, and I'm just going to bring out some of that orange color. Okay, we're almost there, and then you guys can see. You can't really see that harsh line. You guys will see the difference from the top of the sunflower to the bottom as far as where that lion's mane, excuse me, that we colored with the pumpkin pie. Okay, I think that's pretty close here. Okay, you guys, you ready? This is like magic. So I'm going to bring this in and see if we can get it to focus. Look at that. Can you see? So here you can really see part of that lion's mane, but look up here. You don't really see that anymore up here. And you see the variations of the orange coming out into the petals. Isn't that cool? And so basically you just do that around the whole flower, and you just slowly pull that color out and you're blending it in. And you've got this beautiful multi-toned of sunflower with the yellow and the orange. Isn't that beautiful? So I will finish coloring this later. So we're just going to pretend, just for time, that it's all colored and ready to go. And so now we're actually going to color the center of our sunflower with, so the bronze, it does not come in a light, oh sorry, I grabbed soft suede. I grabbed the wrong one. It does not come in a light and a dark. It is just bronze, just one color only. So I'm so sorry. Let me go grab my bronze. Okay. So let's see if you can see this here. I had it. This is a new camera, which I love. It's great, but I'm still trying to figure out the focus. You know, how close I need to get and how far away. But so this is bronze, and we're going to use the brush tip. And so I'm starting around the outer edge of my center and just working my way in. And remember, you just push light pressure. You don't need harsh pressure. So that's still pretty light. So I'm going to go over it again. And I go over this about 3, 4, 5 times just to get the shade that you want. And it's a little bit darker. It might be kind of hard for you guys to see. And I love, it must be a design within the stamp, how you get this like lighter ring kind of toward the middle here. I don't know how they did that, but that's really cool. Okay, I'm going to go over it one more time because we're getting a darker brown here. Okay, I think that's good. And so this is bronze. So let me see if I can bring this to the camera. Yeah, I can see, you guys can't see, it's not a true depiction of how dark that brown is. So it's actually a pretty good, close to early espresso. Let me see if I wonder if I put this up, if it makes a difference. Not really. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and build our card. And so we're going to have our green glue or mono glue. And we're going to go ahead and secure this piece to our early espresso base. And make sure that your card opens the right way. We're going to go ahead and you kind of want to keep it in the middle with even amounts on both sides. And you just kind of eyeball it. I think that's good right there. And when you've got that right where you want it, go ahead and secure that down. Okay. I'm not actually going to secure this down because I do want to finish coloring it later, but I'm going to go through the steps with you. And so these 3 bottom petals, they're kind of in a row. And so what I do is I use that as my gauge of where I want to have my sunflower. So these 3 petals for me always point kind of downward. So one thing you want to keep in mind is that when you're putting your sunflower on here is you want to hide this line where we stamped our background. And so you just kind of line up your sunflower, so see, you cannot see where that line stops between the top and the bottom. So I'm just kind of using that as my guide. And then what you're going to do is before you secure your sunflower and your leaves down, you want to kind of gauge where your leaves go, because you don't want your leaves to extend out beyond your card base. It makes it really difficult to put it in an envelope. And so you just kind of get a feel for where you want your leaves. And remember, the sentiment, you don't want to cover your sentiment. And so once you kind of have everything in its place where you want it, then you want to secure everything with dimensionals. So the back of your leaves get dimensionals. So I did 2 per leaf. I love these dimensionals. One of my favorite basic staples. You have to have dimensionals. And then I'm not going to put dimensionals on the back of my sunflower because I still have to color, but you also want to put dimensionals on the back of your sunflower. And so once you have that all done, then you want to peel the backings off of your leaves. And I'm going to go ahead and put mine on. So peel the backings off your dimensionals. And again, remember you want to cover that line. And that also will help me when I go to put my sunflower on my card. Then I've already kind of got an idea because my leaves are already in place. Remember, don't go out beyond your card. Oh. Okay. And then you would put dimensionals on the back of your sunflower and then secure that down. And then the inside, you have your liner. with your small sunflower. Remember, the alcohol ink bleeds through the paper. So we're going to secure this down to our card base. And there we have our sunflower. You've been on my mind card project. These sunflowers are so fun. I can't say that enough. I really have been having a great time coloring them. And they're great also. And what a nice size, even for scrapbook pages. You know, if you have, like Deer Park, there's sunflower fields. And I know you're not supposed to go through the sunflower fields. A lot of people have damaged those sunflowers by traipsing through the fields for pictures. But I always admire driving on the highway in the summertime, admiring those sunflowers. And I always think, we need to make a scrapbook page of just sunflowers. And these would be great to use on that. Okay, so, and again, dimensions are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 early espresso base. And your Whisper White piece is 3 inches by 5 1/2. And the bottom half is stamped in Bumblebee ink with the Buffalo Check background stamp. The sentiment is stamped in early espresso. And it's from the Butterfly Gala stamp set. Okay. Thank you so much for crafting with the Crafty Chick today. I enjoy your time and happy crafting. I love you. Bye-bye.